for investigates, uncovering scams and ripoffs, questioning government waste, watching out for you. Now, News 4's Craig Cheatham.
Privately, some local cops have told me that they've been ordered to write more traffic tickets or else. But we've never seen those kind of threats in writing until we saw records provided by a former cop who is blowing the whistle on a policy he says has hurt the department and the community it's supposed to serve and protect. We're giving it one more shot. Approaching the van of Bellefontaine Neighbors Mayor Robert Doerr. Mayor, we just want to ask you.
I told you nothing on camera.
Mayor, we want to ask you some questions.
I told you nothing on camera.
But the mayor refused to talk on camera about a police policy that critics say is indefensible.
Well, I think it's unfair to the community.
As a Bellefontaine Neighbors cop for a decade, Joe St. Clair was ordered to carry out that policy. It was a mandate put in writing that St. Clair says required cops to issue a certain number of traffic tickets and even traffic arrests. If they failed to do it, they could be fired.
I think it's sad. I think it's really sad.
St. Clair gave us copies of spreadsheets used by the Bellefontaine Neighbors Police Department. They identify 7 different self-initiated activities that officers are required to do. Those include writing ordinance violations, traffic arrests, uniform traffic tickets, parking violations, and traffic warnings. St. Clair had to do 50 of them every month. The spreadsheets show that traffic arrests represented up to 15% of the required activities for Bellefontaine Neighbors cops, an equivalent of up to 8 arrests per month, and that uniform traffic tickets were up to 60%, or about 30 tickets per month. Did you and other officers feel like your pay was at risk if you didn't write enough tickets?
Well, of course. Progressive discipline eventually to suspension, demotion, and even termination.
If you didn't write enough tickets?
If you didn't write enough tickets.
And you believed that that could happen?
Yes.
St. Clair believed it because he received this letter from the police department threatening disciplinary action because he failed to meet the 50 minimum in September 2013. He was told, quote, "You produced only 32 activities, which is less than 70% of your required minimum performance standard," unquote. If you continue to fail to meet those minimum standards for ticket writing, arrests, and other so-called self-initiated activities, he should, quote, "expect to be replaced, disciplined, or terminated," unquote.
I believe the chief put an illegal mandate on the officers, yes.
Despite his concerns after getting that letter, St. Clair started writing more tickets. And from that point on, he says, he always met the minimum required standard for self-initiated activities.
I was not comfortable doing it. I had to do it. I have a wife and 2 children. I had to support.
Off-camera, Bellefontaine Neighbors Police Chief Robert Pruitt insisted the policy is not a quota system. He said the mayor ordered him not to do an interview about it. He referred us back to the mayor. We want to ask you some questions about this.
Camera.
Does that surprise you?
No.
Tim Fitch retired last year as the St. Louis County Police Chief.
It's absolutely unethical. A lot of the officers will tell you privately, I have to do this or else. But most of the time, the mayors and the police chiefs aren't stupid enough to put it in writing.
The mayor claimed all those self-initiated activities made Bellefontaine Neighbors safer. You can also see what it did at municipal court. The self-initiated activities nearly tripled city revenue from tickets and fines, going from $373,000 to $1.1 million in just the last 4 years.
Fiscally, for the city of Bellefontaine Neighbors, it was great.
The long line of nearly all African-American defendants were given those tickets by a virtually all-white police department.
We should be able to drive without being harassed. It's just simple.
Chantel Lockhart hired an attorney to fight her traffic tickets and won. Many others say they can't afford a lawyer.
It's unfair that they're preying on people that cannot, that just really don't have the resources.
This policy he had set in place, it weakened our relationship with the community. It really did.
The policy eventually took a toll on Joe St. Clair, and he resigned.
I could not be part of that anymore.
Bellefontaine Neighbors has nearly 11,000 residents. 73% of them are black. The police department has 33 officers. Recently, the last black officer, we were told, resigned. Based on the findings of our story, State Senator Eric Schmitt is calling for a state investigation of the Bellefontaine Neighbors Police Department's policies and the way those policies have impacted police officers and the community. More on that part of the story tomorrow. You can see the police records in this case by going to our website, KMOV.com. Craig Cheatham, News 4.